Hi everyone. Well, welcome to the my yard. And well, what I thought for this week's episode was to look at some of the tools and equipment, because often when I'm assessing, I might find that the teams are working with the bare basics of what they need: scissors, knives, heat gun, roller. But what are all those other little bits? So I thought I'd just put this together as a bit of a soundbite of what I carry and what I used to carry, just to be prepared. It's always important if you get a breakdown with your generator, or if you have to change an element, for example. So what I've done, I'm going to flick the camera around, hopefully it'll spin round. There we go. So I've just lined out the kind of basic kit that I keep in my van. Now, those that have been on MVQ assessment will know I often have a little nosy in the back of the van. So one thing I always carry around with me is a dustbin. Keep all my rubbish in. One of the important things we do. As we move on, I've got my PPE in here. So got various. I always keep a spare hard hat for an obscure reason. I think it's because some sites like you to wear their particular hard hat or whatever. So hard hats, all mainly your 5 points of PPE. There's my other glove. I've only got one glove on. I can't operate the camera without otherwise. I tend to keep all my dry PPE or the cleaner PPE, stuff that isn't soaked, in the bag. The wet PPE goes up on a hanger in the van. And likewise, I keep a dry set of clothing in there as well. There's nothing worse than finishing a day's work and coming off site not having dry gear to put on. And a few obscure things in there. I've actually got I've got my respirator in there. I carry I'm face fitted on this particular respirator here, so I've got that in case I'm going into environments. I've got a pair of goggles in there as well, which is sometimes you're in very dusty or somebody might be doing impact work. And also carry my trusty old head torch. So we keep that handy. How many times do we find ourselves working in cubby holes in the ground? Likewise, my boots tend to live out the bag because they normally get notoriously dirty all the time. Some of you might have spotted I've got carry a bag of sand, believe it or not. I used to just carry that round, one as an example to, if the prep wasn't being done right and the site would say, well, we haven't got any sand, I'd just quickly grab a bag of sand. They're only like £3 from B&Q. Just to prepare an area to say that's what I expect, that's what you should be doing. And we've talked about that quite a lot on our previous podcasts. So other kit, this is the kind of box where I've got all the nitty gritty going on in here. So I'm always carrying waster rags, cloths for cleaning. You know that I harp on about cleaning the membrane before we weld it. I keep a fleet of scissors. Some of you will be using knives, etc. But I actually carry left and right-handed scissors. As you know, I do a lot of training and I'm going to meet a lot of left and right-handed learners. So got my scissors in there. Always keep, let's go to this box here. Looks like a drill box, but actually what I keep, let me just open that up. There's a tiny little socket set in there, a few Allen keys, different bits and pieces, maybe a few small drills if I need it, but normally for screwdrivers and bits and pieces. And likewise, I tend to keep a few various size screwdrivers. They tend to be small ones that I use, and a set of Allen keys just in case we need to tighten something up, something works loose. So that's all important. That normally lives in this box. Likewise, hammer, and I keep a bolster as well. How many of you guys, if you have to knock snots off or clean little bits up, you're not going to call the labourers in to do that. So having those few bits handy, it's well worth it. Wire brush, used very frequently. That cleans up the head of my heat gun when I'm done and dusted, or if it starts building up over the course of the day. I've just got a collar in here. I don't know what that's doing in there. I think I use it for demo purposes. A couple more gloves in the PPE department, but I keep a set just spare in here. I've got various rollers as well, so I always tend to have a couple of rollers, clean ones for doing my heat fusing, and the grubbier ones and the rounded ones you can see there tend to be used on my bitumen work. And what else have we got in there? Tape measure. How many teams do I meet that don't either have a tape measure? I've actually got a measuring wheel over in the in the lockup just over there. We keep a measuring wheel for some jobs because you might want to quantify how much work you're going to be doing, etc. I've got a little example of cuss bait as well here. Oh, I've just discovered another screwdriver. Do you know what? I was looking for that. So it's good to have these tidy up and clear up sometime. Got a little bit of cuspate there. I was explaining to a site manager the other week what it does and the importance of it. So, you know, just odds and sods that I keep knocking around. And as you can see, I've got one heat gun in the bottom there. I actually keep my main heat gun is over here in its box. Let's just grab the heat gun out. So the heat gun in here, I keep a scissors and rollers purely for this set. It's a bit grubby on that one, but also keeping an element. How many of you guys have a spare element? Because if one of these goes down, you could be scuppered for the day. So keeping an element, and like make sure that's a 240. You can just see. Sorry, it's a 120. So that's for a 110 machine, which this one is in here today. So looking after that's all important. Another thing that I keep handy, saw. Amount of bits of pieces that I cut, either rolls to reduce them down to the size that I need. All important stuff. Bit on the power supplies. My generator's not here at the moment. It's mounted in the back of the van. Again, sitting on a plant nappy. But I've got a transformer in case I find myself working in 240 environments. Which if I do, and again, people say, oh, you can't use 240 on a site. Well, if you're taking precautions, and here you can see I've got an RCD, hence why I've got a 240 extension lead with a RCD breaker on it, so that I can run this equipment if needs be in a more of a domestic environment. Likewise, a couple of extension leads, 110s, 240 that you saw in the box. Also brooms, cleaning kit. This is actually an old hand one. It's not official hand broom. It's a broken soft broom, but it's great for getting into little cubby holes and round stanchions and steels, cleaning up before I do any priming, for example. Pretty critical, but also just getting debris away. And then I've got my main broom. Try not to use that too much. I've had that 17 years. I'm not going to say the joke, but let's move on. Carry an old trug bucket just in case my bin's too big and I only want to use small parts. And likewise, I always carry an old roller tray, a couple of rollers, little one, big one. And normally I've got a couple of brushes knocking around. I need to get some more because if I find myself priming up, not having the kit to do that. And last thing really was I keep my petrol generator ready for my generator. Keep it in an approved container that's suitable for petrol and the use, nice and secure, in good condition. And I've also got, with the generator, got a funnel so that I can fuel up on that. So, but that's just a quick snapshot of what I carry around. Obviously, let's just flick you back over to me now. So, keeping all those bits in the van is pretty important. There's going to be no end of things, but I'm sure, guys, if you've got other things that you like and have in your van and you think, oh, you didn't mention this, drop it in the messages. Likewise, come and give us a like and drop us a comment. Always welcome on board, and good to see you all again. And well, see you again next time on site. So take care and look after those tools. All right, see you later. Bye now.